Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining me this afternoon. Today is Saturday, 7th day of September 2024. Today we have an important issue to discuss regards to the insecurity that is ravaging our country, Nigeria, and a lot of things has been going on. So today we are going to look into the stuff that are going on and the threats before us. Some time ago, I came to inform us that the insecurity state of Nigeria, that part of the group called the Taliban, vowed that they are going to divide Nigeria before December. And because of that singular statement that they made, I started following these people, the activities, everything they have been doing. So I've been following it up and down to really see whether this threat is real or it's just a mere threat. And right from that time, they have been doing a lot of things like hijacking the armored vehicle of the military men, going to villages, adopting their emir like Obis, killing almost 150 people, doing all sorts of things. But recently, they made a threat to the Nigerian government. I'm going to play the video here. And they told Nigerian government that they defeated US in Afghanistan, that they are going to defeat Nigerian government. And what troubles me most is not because of their threat or what they are doing. The silence of the Nigerian state is one of the problems that I am looking up to here, because Nigeria has been mute, they have been silenced, not talking about the issues that are going on. So that is what we are going to discuss. And in our house here, we have Professor Clavis Johnson, a professor of mathematics. He is also going to discuss this matter with us. So stay with us as we dive into it. All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. If you are just joining now, we have an important discussion to discuss. And about next 10 to 20 minutes to come, we are going to open our line as usual, because this is a public opinion platform where we are still going to, allow calls in for people to talk about the situation of things. Now, let's go straight to see the video of this, the group called Ìswap, how they are threatening the Nigerian government, that they defeated the US in Afghanistan and they are going to defeat Nigeria. So what comes to my mind was, is it the same people that defeated US in Afghanistan? So are they the same people in Nigeria, or they work together globally? So there are so many things we are going to, unfold in this video. But let us listen to what they really said.
Ko kashe mu za ku ko mi za ku iya yi muna, wallahi tallahi ba za mu ba wannan aikin ba. Sai dai in kun bari kun ba kashe muna ƴan uwa, ku bari da mu da ku a zo a zanna lafiya, to mu mun yarda da wannan tsari. Amma wai da ƙarfin bindiga, wallahi ba za mu taɓa bari ba. Ku tuna America shekara nawa tana yaƙi da Afghanistan, shekara nawa tana yaƙi da ƴan Taliban. Tun da Usama bin Laden ya bar duniya, har yanzu ƙungiyar shi na ana yaƙi da ita. Duk ba a ƙara waɗannan mutanen ba, sai ku da na samo bindigogi ku halba ku kashe wanda za ku kashewa, ku kuma manoma ku ji. Duk da kun ka sani sun ka kawo mana farmaki, ku ji manoma, ku sani wanga geron da kun ka noma da wannan dawat ba raban ku bane. Ku sani ba su zuwa su kashe muna shanun ƴan uwanmu Fulani makiyaya su ce wai an zauna lafiya. Ba mu taɓa yarda ba. Sannan ku malamai na dawo kansu da kuke cewa mina ne ku ƙaro masu duk duniya ku haɗo ku ba su. In kun iya ku ƙaryata wannan aya da take kullu nafsi za'ikatu mauti, dukkan mai rai zai mutu. In kun iya ku ƙaryata ta ko ku ce Allah da ya faɗe ta bai iya ba. Ku ce ran da za ku mutuwa ku gat ku mutu. Ko kuma ku ce tunda Allah ya halicci turji sai ya shekara 30 ko 40 ko 100 ku ƙaryata wanda ya halicce mu. In kun ka ƙaryata shi to kaga mu mun tabbata kun kai Hausawa ma tunda mun ka riga mun ka samu bindiga ko.
All right, for the interest of people who don't understand Hausa language, what the man is trying to say is that, they said that the Fulanis will not be allowed to parabulate their cattle from around Nigeria, that let Tinubu bring his military, that they defeated Afghanistan, they defeated US in Afghanistan, I mean the US soldiers in Afghanistan, that they are going to, defeat the Nigerian forces, something like that. Maybe as time goes on, we have a clearer, an indigenous of, a northern and Hausa person who can even go deep to explain the details. But this is just what they are saying, that they defeated the US in Afghanistan, that they can still defeat Nigeria. This is a very difficult time in Nigeria, especially this period of time that insecurity is ravaging the country. From the north to the south, east to west, everywhere, this is holistic. The insecurity situation in Nigeria is a call for alarm, but the world is keeping quiet to read. The people dying in Nigeria has outnumbered the people who died in Ukraine, because few people have lost their life in Russia, in Ukraine and Gaza. The people who are dying in Nigeria outnumber them, but the world just keep quiet as if nothing is going on. And the height of it is that these people are collecting taxes from the farmers. These people hijack farms. They do all sorts of things against the people. So this is a pathetic situation we have found ourselves, and it's troubling. And the government, they are keeping quiet, which shows that they know what is going on. Whether they are working with these people, I don't just know. But this is a very difficult situation that we have found ourselves. Welcome, Mr. Power. Mr. Power Clavis is a professor of mathematics. Now, some time ago, we discussed about the issue of democracy, why democracy cannot work in Africa. And some persons said that if Nigeria military seizes power from the democratic government, that it is going to be better. But some persons are doubting it because it is not all about whether it's military or democratic regime. Some people are saying it's all about the structure and the people involved. Because as I speak to you, all these people, Boko Haram, Ìswap, if they repent, they will put them inside Nigeria military. They call them repentant Boko Haram. They will indulge them into the military. So I am afraid, because if what happened in Burkina Faso, for example, happened in Nigeria, is this all these military men that are going to take charge of affairs in Nigeria? The other day, the military men were calling people, they were calling their members as well. They were telling them that, the bandits are coming, you people should not touch them. So they are accomplices, they protect these people. And this is what is going on in Nigeria. Mr. Clavis, you have the mic. Yes. I have some questions to ask you. And number one question to it is, do you really think that democracy will continue to work in Africa after seeing all these things, after seeing the way things are going, totally going wrong, things are really going wrong? Do you think that if we continue this democracy, even people who say they want to secede, for example, do you think that if they continue this Western kind of democracy, that we are going to see a headway to it?
Thank you, Mr. Okocha. It's a pleasure to be online with you again, discussing about Nigeria. As I keep saying, Nigeria is a sovereign country, and I'm not originally from Nigeria, but being part of Africa and being an African, so We are all called to come together and find common solutions for the progress of Africa. So if I have opinions concerning Nigeria, even though I'm not originally from Nigeria, but if it's really for the benefit of Nigerians, why not? So I really appreciate the opportunity you've given me to discuss about this issue. Now, talking about democracy, Mr. Okocha, I am the writer of the book Afro Democracy, simply as the opposite of Western democracy. That is to say, I don't believe in the progress of democracy in African countries, even those calling for secession. If today they manage to secede from the central government and carry on with Western model of democracy, they will still have internal issues, whether we like it or not. They will still have internal issues in their seceded state. That is to say that based on our cultural diversity, we cannot progress successfully with this model of Western democracy in our countries. We cannot do that, Mr. Okocha. There's no way. There's no way.
All right. If we cannot do that, there is a stronghold that these people in democratic office have taken. They have amassed wealth to themselves. They have gathered power to themselves to the extent that citizens who are protesting against them, they are charging them treasonable felony. You know what that means? If you are found guilty of treasonable felony, it's a death sentence. That is what Tinubu is charging people who are just protesting against bad governance, against hunger, against corruption. They are charging them with treason. These politicians who have amassed wealth to themselves, how possible is it to remove democracy out of the nations of Africa? How possible?
Well, Mr. Okocha, thanks again. You say that I'm a mathematician, but I've been doing this in political science and writing books in political science and anti-colonial studies. Anti-colonial studies. There's this upcoming book of mine, The Theories of Tribalism. In that book, I have debate controversies and Afro-democracies that I've written in, and it's coming out on the market very soon. And it's in the category of anti-colonial studies. So we're standing against colonialism, as you are trying to put it right here. Here we have military leaders in power, and we also have members of the government using their might against the people and wrongfully charging them for the crimes that perhaps are less than what they've been doing as officials of the government. Now, we keep saying this here, and I keep writing in my text, in my research, that there is no way we can carry on in our countries without questioning what is the real identity of the black man, of the African me and you are. If we keep ignoring that, we will never find the common solutions that is really sustainable to our crisis. Well, here we're talking about the military leaders who are really abusing, I can say that, their powers over the people. But on my side, I will ask the question, why? Why would a military leader who took an oath to protect and to serve the people, finally using that might against the people he promised to serve? Simply because, I will still repeat it, simply because the country they took an oath to serve, as Nigeria, as Congo, as Ivory Coast, as whatsoever, does not exist. It's only existing in the mind of the colonist. So if that is only in the mind of the colonist, no matter what you have as kind of expertise, you will never serve the country to the benefit of the people. You will never. So when they are doing that, I don't really blame political leaders in Africa. I don't really blame them. When they stole the money, when they kill the people, yeah, they are doing what is wrong. But I also believe that the system of their leadership, the system in which they are really exercising their leadership, is foreign to them. So they are being told what to do in order to protect the dream of a certain colonist, and that dream is called Nigeria. And that dream is called Nigeria. When I look at the hardship in Nigeria today, if you look at Mr. Tinubu as such, a father, an African man, if it's not in the name of the republic, if it's not in the name of the presidency, I don't think that man could stand on his side looking at the people suffering, provided that he has the means. I don't see him doing that. We believe that our fathers, our uncles, as Africans, when you see someone in need, we always come and offer something. We always come and assist. But why is it not possible when the same old man who has African value, once is sitting in the presidency, he can't do it anymore? Why? Because the presidency is so...
That is the question I wanted to ask you. That is the question I wanted to ask you. So why?
That is based on the theories of tribalism, Mr. Okocha, first of all. And secondly, is because the presidency is such a mysterious, such a dark, deep kind of administration that is existing in African countries. It's not the way we see it out there with some kind of, luxury vehicles and all that. It's not that way as we can admire the presidency from outside. Those who are inside, I can tell, it's like facing the devil every day and every night. They are not free in their mind. They are not free in doing whatsoever. So he can be of good heart and of good intentions before stepping in the presidency. But the moment he's there, he's no longer the same person. That's why we can see like people being killed, but Mr. Tinubu not doing anything. But if he was the chief of the village, or if he was the chief of a certain community, he will come out and speak out. But why is he not able to do that while he's in the presidency? Because the presidency is not established to serve us the people. I keep saying that. In all my writing, all my research, I will never change that statement. The presidency in Africa is not established to serve the people. It is established to serve the owner of our countries, the dreamers. Like in this case here in Nigeria, who created Nigeria and who called me and you as Nigerian citizens while we are Igbos, we are Yorubas, we are whatsoever. Who called us as Nigerian citizens? Who? Those are the people the presidency must serve, not me and you as regular citizens. Not me and you, Mr. Okocha.
Wow. The question I wanted to ask you first is the why. You have been able to explain to a certain point why someone will have a good mind, immediately the person will become a president. The person will lost that gesture. The person will lost that trait. I'll call it a trait or a character. Whether they say, oh, this person is a very good person, let us vote for him. After voting for him, they will say, oh, this is not what we voted for.
Yes.
So
as the public, Mr. Okocha, we have to understand that the country has laws. We have the laws of the countries as such that is applicable to me and you as regular citizens. We also have a kind of a constitution that is regulating our country. Now, when it comes to the presidency, we should take it as a foreign entity within our country, if that country exists. So the presidency is a foreign administration within our country, which means it has its own constitution within the presidency. It has its own laws and its own principles within the presidency. That is to say that out of the presidency, you can kill, but the moment you do that, you'll be charged. But once you are in the presidency, you can kill and no one will charge you. You can see we have some kind of different principle, different constitutions regulating, I can say, the expenses of our countries. So there are laws and constitutions for the publics, and there are also laws, principles, and constitutions within the presidency. That is why we can see, a good leader giving all these good promises that if I'm elected, I will do this, I will do that. First of all, if he does not fulfill the mandate of the people who created the presidency, he will never win the elections. He will never, no matter how the people will vote for him, he will never. Or if they let him win, which means behind closed doors, he has signed some kind of contract that me and you regular people will never know. That's the case in Senegal. Senegal is right there. A palpable example for us. We can see those who are making noise, talking about anti-colonial whatsoever system in the country, that once they've been elected, they are not doing what they've been talking about anymore. Because if they carry on doing that, they will only face two situations. One, humiliation, or the other, death. That is simple. So who are they to kill themselves or not to be the victim for the sake of the people? Who are they? Are they Jesus Christ? I don't think so. So they are facing different situations within the presidency. That's why I keep saying the presidency is the darkest administration existing in African countries, whether we like it or not.
All right. How does this issue you're explaining has to do with the silence of these people on insecurity or security matters of the country, where people will be dying and the presidency will not say anything about it?
Well, Mr. Okocha, in the same way as I've been saying from the beginning of this video, you come into power, you've been promoted, not voted in, you've been promoted by the people who created the presidency, who established that in our countries. You've been promoted there to serve their interests, not the interests of the people. Yet, when they go public, they'll be saying that, okay, I'll create jobs, I will serve the people. But that is not what they've been put in the presidency for. Now, we're talking about insecurity in our countries. What we have to ask ourselves questions: what is the cause of that insecurity? Who's creating that? Who's harming the rebels? Who's pushing the people to commit all those crimes? Who's behind them? Who's financing them? Those are the kind of questions we have to ask. And I keep saying, there is no insurgency that can arise from a certain country and have the government powerless to stop them. We are talking about the government, the almighty on the land, unable to stop a group of rebels. That's impossible. If they cannot do that, we have to deduct from that the government is working together with the people behind that insecurity. Now, if the government is established to serve foreign interests, then we can say that scientifically that the foreign interests are those behind the insecurity that we are talking about in Nigeria. That's so simple. So there must be insecurity for those forces to try, and that is what's going on right now in Nigeria.
Seriously. All right. There is this popular journalist in Nigeria, a journalist of Arise News. Some time ago, he was invited to a program in the church, and he was talking about the issue of amalgamation of Nigeria and what the British did to Nigeria. I think it's important we listen to parts, not all the video, part of the video, what he said. Let's see how we can connect it with what you are saying.
Okay.
We talk about Leah Sharibu. Leah Sharibu is a symptom of a deeper problem. We talk about Nigeria not work. It was not structured in a way that it was going to work, because people wanted to take it for their own benefits. And that's why they don't like the truth. That's why they want to dominate every sphere. They want to shut people down in the media when you try to rat them out.
But you don't know what tomorrow brings. Still in this crazy world, people dying last every day. You read about it in the news, but you don't believe it. You only know about it when the man in the lamp black coat knocks on your door. Cause first next meeting, I swear I'm living.
I'm going to be talking about something called the genesis of distortion. I titled it, I said the genesis of distortion. The reason why Nigeria it is today is because there's a genesis to the distortion. It didn't start today. And I'll take you back to some key dates. I'll take you back to the year 1914. The year 1914 was the year they amalgamated the Northern and the Southern Protectorate. But before then, the British had first amalgamated the Southern Protectorate, because you see, when they came, they met us fighting ourselves. Prior to that time, we had fought the Kiriji and the Jalomi wars. So in the South, for instance, when the British came, the only thing they had to do was just to unite the warring factions. Because the Ijeshakiti Parako were fighting deep, the Oyo people and all of that. So we're fighting, and we have made a lot of slaves. Most of the people that went from the Kiriji and Jalomi wars were those that went as slaves to Latin America. Those are the people that came back as what we call the Agudaos. These are the likes of the Darochas. So that's why you see that Lagos Island is filled with a lot of Brazilian architecture. They even celebrate Fanti Festival. In fact, we eat frijon in Christmas. Frijon is not native to us. It's Portuguese food. So those were the cultures they brought back. But how did we get those cultures? Because we were fighting. So they said the kingdom of God suffered violence. And no violence can take us by force. We were already fighting from hitherto. Then the British came, settled the fight, then they colonized. The first inroad of the British in what is called Lagos colony today came in the middle 1800s, when two people too were fighting over the throne of Lagos, Kosoko and Akitoye. So they called in the British to come and settle fights. But you see, when you call a bigger man to come and settle fights of something that is very juicy, what do? They take it from you. So when Akitoye went aboard a ship called the HMS Prometheus on the Lagos Marina here, and he said, the British said, we don't know what you're talking about. Sign this edict that you will cede Lagos to us. So Lagos became a crown colony, and that's why in 1906 the first thing we did was the Southern Protectorate, the other fighting parts of the Yoruba parts, and Lagos colony. And that's why you see up till 1960, in fact when we gained independence in 1960, residents full born in Lagos had the chance to either choose a British passport or a Nigerian passport. But a lot of them opted for Nigerian passport. So after that amalgamation, they started to rule over us. So guess the things they started to do to us. The first thing they did was they distorted our mindset. That's the genesis of the distortion. So they told you that your black color was never good enough. How did they do it? Indoctrinations. At first, they told you have to go through an education system. And after the education system, they say your language was not good enough, so they taught you in English. Have you ever wondered that if we are taught mathematics in Igbo, there will have been more people with a sound understanding of mathematics than in English? So the first thing you have to do, you have to learn your colonizer's language. And when you learn your colonizer's language, they took away your identity on how to think. So they call your customs and traditions idolatry. And the last thing they did was that they set up a fight between you, because they know if you are united, then there's going to be a problem. You remember the Tower of Babel? Even our God knew the importance of unity. So what did he do? He changed the language. So they set up a fight. And it's so easy. How would they do it? They have agents. Stir up ethnic strife. Yorubas will fight Hausa, Hausas will fight Igbos and all of that. And they fan the embers. And they constantly do it. So the first genesis of distortion was the initial colonialism, and they continued. In fact, they did it up till 1959, when we had the first elections, the 12th of December. You know what they deliberately did? That election, we know who won that election. Who had more votes? The NCNC had more votes. But originally, the British had planned that it was going to be a hung parliament. You know what they call a hung parliament? A hung parliament is when there's no clear winner in a parliamentary system. So you have to form a government of national unity. The British had known that it would be either the Yorubas and the Igbos, the Action Group, or the NCSC, and the MPC. The MPC was standard.
All right, Clavis.
Yes.
You said a lot of things that I want to pinpoint here. You talk about that it is Britain that decide the election in Nigeria. So Rufai Oseni said that the first election that we had in Nigeria, that they knew who won the election, but the British decided to do it in their own way, the way they want to do it. But how will you convince an ordinary Nigeria that Britain is still influencing Nigerian election? How would they believe you that Britain is still influencing Nigerian election?
That is a very simple step to start
Okay.
with. You see, what this brother was talking about It's what I'm trying to categorize in the theories of tribalism, whereby you have to avoid any clash between us as people from different cultures, and in the process we have to value our culture because that is our identity. And that is what I'm trying to bring up in the context of Afro democracy as well. Now, how are we going to convince this brother here that we are not the ones voting? I will ask that brother to look at himself as a black fellow man. He's that stupid as the worst is trying to narrate about us? Is it that stupid as the narratives of the world concerning black people? As when you see that this leadership here is really ruining our lives, and you go to the polls voting for change, and not only you yourself, but many people together with you. And by the end, when results come out, is the very same leader who's stealing, who's destroying the economy, who's the winner of that election. Look at yourself. Are you that stupid to still vote for such a person? No. I don't believe in the stupidity of Africans, as people keep saying that, whether they went to school or not. I don't believe that. Because provided that we have wise men in our villages, then those people in the village are not that stupid as well, because they can get advice from the wise men. So I don't believe in the stupidity of the black man, and that is not based on the fact that they are educated in universities or not. No. But by having the very same leader winning over and over again, even though the people have been in the street protesting whatsoever, that should tell you that there is something wrong with the electoral system. There is something wrong with the polling. There is something wrong with this electioneering that we always talking about. We don't elect. If it was just about the free elections by the free choice of the black man, as smart as we are, not based on our education or our certificate or qualification whatsoever, but just because we are Africans, we are from old schools, our forefathers were there, we are still passing traditions from them to us, we will be able to make the right choice. That's possible. But the only way we are failing is because the electoral system is not controlled by us. It is not controlled by us. There is no way. It is for that matter I keep saying, when we call for elections, we will still count for a regime change whatsoever. But that is not the hope of the people, because that regime change will only bring the person who's already taken an oath behind closed doors against me and you. This is the case of Senegal. Senegal is a material case, material example in front of us right here. The people were claiming to be Pan-Africanist before being in power. Once they're in power, they're now almost against Pan-Africanism. How can you explain that? It's because even though they were promoted there, but the environment of their leadership is foreign to them, so they cannot do as they please. No. We don't vote.
All right.
We don't vote, Mr. Okocha.
In this situation, Mr. Clavis, I'm saying about this insecurity because that is number one problem we have in Nigeria now. This insecurity issue that the government are not interested. It is spreading, they are having more strength, they are gaining more grants, they are seizing more territories. What do you think that ordinary citizens should do at this point? Because we are already dying like flies, we're already dying like chicken. What do you think we should do at this moment?
In the same way, Mr. Okocha, the people shouldn't take me as I am not wishing bad or evil on my fellow black brothers, but I will give the first step here, the first scenario. When we go for referendum, we already spoken about it here that we don't vote. We cannot bring about change in that context. When we talk about the political regime change, I already said that here many times that the political regime change is not the hope of the people. So all that is falling in the context of democracy, in the context of constitutional republics whatsoever we're talking about. Now, if we need about change that is sustainable, something that we can leave behind for our children and for future generations, then we have to think about different methods, about different ways. Because if we just come here and kick Mr. Tinubu out, whoever will come after him will not bring about anything. We will not do that. So I keep going straight to the point, Mr. Okocha. In the introduction of this video, you were talking about the military, whatsoever, that who can take over the destiny of Nigeria in the military context and still maintain order and security in the country. You were saying like none of these militaries we're having right here, none of these officers. Yes, I understand. But among them, there must be one, or perhaps more than one, a hero somewhere who's capable to do that. That is what perhaps could be the subject in our churches, praying like for such a person to come out and grab the destiny of Nigeria to drive it, somewhere that is much hopeful for the people, not what we sing today. So I believe that there is a hero somewhere hidden in the military that can be capable to do that and really to bring about this government of world sharing, equal world sharing to all Nigerians. That is possible. And especially to drive that insecurity out of the country. It's possible. But at the bottom of that, it is the system. We need to talk about the system. We need to change the system that is bringing all these problems in our lands. And what is that system about? Is the presidential system. We don't need presidents in Africa. I keep saying that. We don't need presidents in Africa. Because the person who suggested the presidency to us, he's the one who wants us to be fighting. He's the one who wants insecurity in Nigeria. He's the one who's using the presidency in order to steal whatsoever from our economy. He's the one who's using the presidency to occupy our lands. He's the one who's using the presidency to impoverish us. So why should you be there out in the street calling for a presidency that is serving the people? There will never be a presidency that will serve the people. If there is one, then just give it time. Just give it time. When that presidency is gone, when that regime is out, when that leader in the presidency is out, the country risks going back again to square one. We've seen that many times in Africa. This is Libya here. This is Libya. Do you understand? So we should just look at it in that way. We don't need a presidency in Africa, Mr. Okocha.
All right. If we don't need presidency, you are not the first person, by the way, to say this. The former military president of Nigeria and 2 times democratic president, Mr. Olusegun Obasanjo, said that this kind of democracy can never save Africa, that this kind of democracy cannot work in Nigeria. Just imagine a caliber of man like that, who has served both military and democratic regime, coming out to tell you that this is not going to work. So is that is to say that we are just playing all our efforts, doing everything we are doing, that we are not even, first of all, we don't even know the problem, talk less of to solve the problem. Because it is difficult for you to solve.
Last time, Mr. Okocha, we don't know what we are fighting.
It is difficult to solve a problem you don't know. For us, we continue to say that until we have a good person who will be in presidency, all the whole problem will solve.
That is the wrong battle. That is fighting the wrong battle. Now, from what you are saying, I'll pick it up from what Mr. Obasanjo came up with. Mr. Okocha, before we understand the situation around the speech of Mr. Obasanjo, we have to ask ourselves that question. Why he didn't come out saying that when he was in power? That is to say that when you're in the presidency, you are not yourself anymore. You are not yourself anymore. That's why the presidency can send soldiers to go and kill people on the street. But when he goes into his own village with his own people, he's now a loving person. He cares about the people he's speaking the same dialect with. But when he comes back in the presidency, those he's not speaking the same dialect with, they are enemies. Kill them if you have to. That's the situation right there. Mr. Obasanjo was not a free person to talk about the new model of leadership while he was in power. But now that he came out, feeling like he's free to speak, he's live his life, he has nothing to lose anymore, then he dropped the message to the people. So it's up to us to understand exactly what Mr. Obasanjo was trying to say, because I believe that he will never come back again for the 3rd, 4th time to come and speak about it. What he said will serve generations to come. That word that came out of Mr. Obasanjo's mouth, it will serve generations to come. So it's up to us to know how we can drive this through and make it realistic in our societies. But what came after when Mr. Obasanjo said that? I was reading the news across Nigeria. People were criticizing him. People were calling him names. People were saying all those kind of things. But I don't see that as normal. Look, Mr. Okocha, there is this article that was written by this one of the news outlets in Nigeria criticizing Mr. Obasanjo. I personally responded to that news outlet in Nigeria. I sent them an email and told them that whatsoever they're doing is a colonial mandate because Mr. Obasanjo was not wrong. And I even challenged them that if me, in my saying, I am wrong, you are free to contact me. It's been 3 months already. They're not coming back to me, Mr. Okocha. They're not coming back to me. That I am not in Nigeria, but I challenged them. They're not coming back to me. And I had to write another article to contradict what they've been saying against Mr. Obasanjo, because those are the structures misleading the people. If such a person with his all experience coming out and saying, man, I've been deep in the waters, I can say like this kind of fish is sick because I've been there, I'm also a fish myself. Now he is coming out of the waters telling me and you are not fish, that fish down there is sick. We still deny, we're still doubting, we're still calling names. So what is the problem with us then? How? That is the prophet right there. Why should we kill our own prophet who's telling us about things while he came from some places, from structures that me and you perhaps will never be there? That's the situation right now here with us. We will never succeed into this democracy. We will never, because the people who suggested that to us don't like us to succeed politically. They will never let us succeed. Never. So we don't need presidents. We don't need them.
All right. Now, the question that you have to answer about this is, if we don't need president, what do we want or what do we need?
Mr. Okocha, as Africans, as I keep saying, we are smart, not because of our education, not because of our qualifications, because I believe that even that brother who's deep in the village, provided that he's surrounded by wise men in the village, then that man can be even much smart than the one who's going to universities. So we are smart enough to answer this question here, Mr. Okocha. Well, before the presidency was suggested to us, what was our ways of leadership in Africa? That is the question we have to ask. In order to answer this question, we have to say, we are like people who are lost. You know, we are in a certain journey, and then we are lost in the process. We were traveling from point A to point B. We are lost in the process. What is the African ways of wisdom telling us? When you're lost, you must go back. You must go back somewhere there at the crossroad and find out where were you. So that is it. We have to go back. The solutions to our problems in Africa is not in the future. It is in the past. It is in the past. We have to go back. Where did we go wrong? That is how we can answer the questions of today's time. Where did you go wrong in the past? We have to go back, and that's where we can get the answers. I believe that Africa was doing somehow, perhaps good, perhaps not so good, but it was doing somehow much better within our cultures. Way before the white man came with this issue of republics, presidency, whatsoever. He took the power from this village in the south. He took the power of leadership from this village from the west, whatsoever. He put them together in the presidency. Then he chose someone. Sometimes they are foreigners. We have presidents in African countries who are not even from those countries they are presidents about. So you took some people from wherever to come and lead in a structure that is composed of different powers from different structures, from different regions of the country. And you expect that person to be accepted by the people he is not sharing the same culture with because of the republics, because of democracy. That's wrong. That's what Mr. Obasanjo was trying to recall our minds about. If we really want to be there, we must come back in our cultures. And what I said in Afro-Democracy, the New African Order, that if I'm from the South, it's not wise for someone who's from far north to come and lead over me. It's not wise. That's why we're having this conflict in our countries based on ethnicities, based on whatsoever, because that is normal, is natural. And that leads us back to the question, asking ourselves, what is our true identity? What is our true citizenship as Africans? Are you a Nigerian or you are something else? That is the question you have to ask yourselves. So if you can be able to answer that question, then you will know how to answer these issues of leadership. You will know that. Because if you're not a Nigerian, then there shouldn't be a Nigerian president. Finished. There shouldn't be a Nigerian president if Nigeria does not exist. Simple as that. Once again, Mr. Okocha, we don't need president in Africa. We must close the presidencies. We must close them.
Wow. Anyway, this is your speech is inspiring. You know, it's inspiring, but it also comes with a lot of puzzle, a lot of questions. Because as it stands now, let me be honest with you, in Nigeria, if you ask individual people, like, do you want Nigeria to be one? Do you want Nigeria to divide? You will see that 98% of Nigerians will opt for division because they believe that through division, they will be able to capture their territory and make their territory their own, the government of their own, and the government will benefit people. Because as it stands now, I told you from the beginning of this broadcast that people are being charged treasonable felony just because they are protesting and chanting Tinubu must go. And I am saying Tinubu must go simply means that if a president is elected or appointed or promoted to that place, by all means, I don't know. So the president, if he is not doing what pleases the people, he's supposed to resign. But you see, these people don't care. You can be protesting. Tinubu will jet off out of the country. It doesn't concern him. He doesn't say if anything is going on.
The people who promoted him there will not let him resign. Who can resign is the only one who was elected by the people. We don't elect those leaders. So why must he resign because some people are protesting in the street? Are you the ones who elected him? No. He is serving the mandate of the people who are telling him behind closed door, don't resign. If they keep carrying on, go and beat them up in the street. We are the ones controlling international organizations of justice whatsoever. No one will prosecute you. Go and do that, provided that our interests are protected. That's why I keep saying we don't need a presidency. Because what is happening in Nigeria, as we keep saying in African traditions, for a thief to enter your house, there must be someone within the house who open the door for that person to enter. There must be someone within the house who open the door for that criminal to get in. So here we're having rebels in the country. Who brought them in? Is the president. Is the presidency. He's the one who opened the door. Like in this situation here, they're doing whatsoever pleasing them in the country, and they're just folding their arms. That is another way of opening the door. Come in and do whatsoever. So why is the presidency opening the door to those people, like by not taking any action, if that presidency is really for the people? If it was for the people, they won't even open the door. It's just like a family man. If that is your family, your wife, your children, you won't open the door to criminals to get in your house to come and harm your family. That's impossible. So if the presidency is doing that, simply because it's not the presidency for the people, but it's the presidency for the people who thought about what the presidency should be. And when you look at the history of the presidency, it came from being a colonial administrations and then changed into the presidency. So it has its own constitution, its own principles, its own ways of administration whatsoever. So they just changed the name. They just changed the name. It's just like the devil changing the name, which means within him, he will still kill if he has to. So that is the situation with the presidency today. And how do you expect any change from such an administration? How do you expect such a good man to go there and still serve with good heart? There's no way. There's no way, Mr. Okocha. There's no way.
Anyway.
So the people can go, you can say that there's doubt. How can we go about this? Yeah, I understand what the people are thinking about. So in my writing, I suggested referendums whatsoever, because you're writing something academic, you're writing something that will be used here and there in this kind of higher institutions. Yeah, I must talk about something within the law that we must go for referendums, we must go for this. But practically on the ground, I will not call for a referendum. For what? I will not call for a referendum because I know it. mathematically, scientifically, there will be a high probability of failure because we don't control the electoral machine. We don't control that. It is in the hands of the people who want us to be in this situation of impoverishment. So all I want is a sudden change to seize the control of the country. And from there, you start restructuring the countries, following the culture and, all the cultural map of the country. That's it. And who can do that? It's not me and you as civilians. Who can do that? It's only the military. So if these current officials in the army are unable to do that just because they sell out, then there must be a young officer, perhaps who's listening to you right now, who will be like, okay, I'm the one who's going to carry that mandate. And if he has the calling of the universe, then it will be successful. It will be successful, Mr. Okocha. There's still a way. There's still a way. Now, people will be like, okay, how can Clavis be calling for a sudden military change whatsoever? Now, look at what our enemies do, Mr. Okocha. When they realize that they are going to win the elections and that leader is a sellout, they will let you go voting peacefully. That is what happened in Ivory Coast when the current president was changing the constitution for a third term. They let you go voting peacefully. But when they realize that they are going to lose control over the country, they won't even let you go on referendums. They will make sure that there is trouble in the country, rebellions will arise from wherever, and then there will be a chief somewhere there. Come on. There will be some kind of insurgency coming. So that is it. They will send only what kind of guns, what kind of weapons. They will arm that group and then to go and organize a coup. Because they believe that that is the fastest way to seize control over the country. So why me and you, the people who are fighting for change, don't go that way as well? Why should we not go that way? Why should we not? This is our country. I'm in the military. If the enemy, who's not from my country, is using the ways of coup d'etat to bring about sudden change for their own control and their own interest, why not be in the position to do that as well? Why not? I will do the same thing. That's why I keep saying, if I was in the military, Mr. Okocha, I wouldn't last this long. I wouldn't do that. What's the point of me putting the military uniform on and going out serving the flag that's really killing the people? Come on. Where is my conscience? Where is it? If I was in the military, I won't last this long. I will try my best.
Why won't you last long if you're in the military? Because you are going to carry out the military.
Organize the coup d'etat. Simple in my country. I'll do that. I will do that. I will do that not to kill the current president, not to kill ministers or to kill my own people, but to drive the colonial system out of my country. Simple as that. I will drive the colonial system out of my country and establish the system that is more inclusive. And here is Afro-democracy I'm talking about. It's so simple. Because you cannot win by ways of referendums. We cannot. We cannot, Mr. Okocha. We cannot.
Wow, your thoughts, everything is so deep. At this moment, we are going to open our line, and we are still going to open our link. You can join us live, and you can call us through the WhatsApp number to share your own view and opinion. Here we have a Professor Clavis Johnson who is saying that this insecurity in Nigeria is not going to stop because the presidency is not meant to serve the people. The presidency is meant to serve people who created the presidency. We have, we have someone in the stage that I am going to bring to the floor, and she is Mama H.O. That is what we used to call her. So I am going to unmute her very soon because I would like to ask her some questions about the things you have said so far. Because Mama H.O. is believing that, okay, she's on mute. Mama H.O. is believing that if we have a good person in the position of authority, in the position of leadership, that is just all, that will solve our problem. And here is Professor Clavis Johnson, our brother, saying that, the new colonists, the colonial masters, they control all these things we are seeing in Nigeria. If they say, you are going to become president, you are going to become president. And that is why if someone is good, Immediately he entered the position of authority, the person will not serve the people. They will say, this is not the Tinubu I know. This is not the Goodluck Jonathan I know. This is not the Buhari I know. If they just enter there, they will change. They won't send people at all. They won't even send anybody. If you like it yourself, if you even protest, they shoot you. But a black man is not that wicked to shoot his fellow black man. So I am just trying to connect some dots, to find reasons, to sell your idea to people that, come on, Nigeria is not being led by Tinubu. Tinubu is not in charge. When you see him jetting out to France, jetting out to UK every day, he's going to meet the people he went to meet Chatham House before he became president. Anyway, Mama H.O., you are welcome. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning from here, and it's good to see you guys.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
I'm glad in my heart that African youth, African young generation are waking up. I'm glad that some African people are beginning to understand the real truth.
Okay.
And to understand our real enemies.
That is very important too. You must understand whom your enemies are. That is very important too.
And personally, I didn't know why God brought me here. When I won the American lottery visa that somebody forcefully played for me, and he told me, among the whole people, you are the only one I will come and tell congratulations. And that happened. I didn't want to come. Even when I went for my interview, I did want to come. Even when I got the visa, I still didn't want to come. But there was one thing I didn't want to do. I said to myself, if that is your destiny and God has a purpose for it, if you do not obey, the same voice that is telling you don't go because you have a physical challenge, you can't survive a new place with your crutches, will still tell you to. But because I didn't want that to happen, I gradually came. Even when then I was working in First Bank, when I came with money to buy my ticket back home. But when I got here, something happened. Because I'm a Christian and I listened to it that did not allow me to die or timely death. 2 months I graduated from Unica. So when I got here, less than a month, I got my green card, I got my Social Security card. I said, Papa God, you did bribe me. So if I go back to Nigeria now, what will I say that brought me? So I stayed put. Then I make up my mind to understand the system.
Okay.
I went for my second bachelor degree, which is in social work. And that opened my eyes.
Okay.
And I discovered a lot of truth.
And what are the truths you discovered?
First, I found out that there were homeless people in this environment. But in Nigeria, where we are, they show all the glorious aspect of this environment.
Okay.
And young people are lured to come over here because the beautiful that they are seeing is different from theirs.
Okay.
Then I also discover that in Africa, we show that the worst of Africa, the impoverished people, and never the good side. Then I ask, why are they doing this?
Okay.
I know that over here they are doing it so that we can run down. In those days, they came to buy us as slaves. But in this very moment, we walk here with our leg to come and do their job, invariably as slaves. Because I know the African people, they are smart, they are intelligent. And we use the intelligence to come over here to continue to help them to build and build and build. Leaving our home, nothing. Then our leaders show the bad aspect so that they can come over here to become beggars. That is why they always come to borrow and borrow, and they are borrowing the destiny of my children. Then I remember when I met Richard Gross, my lawyer till date. He asked me, I met him because of a case. He asked me, where are you from? I said, I'm from Nigeria. With proudness. He now asked me, is Nigeria corrupt? I said, we are very, very corrupt. But we are the product, we are children of the father and mother of corruption. And you people are the father and mother of corruption. That our leaders steals our money. You open your water wide and they bring it in. They buy property cash. They put the money in account with no next of kin. And when they die, that money belongs to you. But when they were bringing it, you drove them back. Corruption would have stopped. But you didn't do it. And when it is time for them to even take the money home, you will not allow them to carry more than 10,000. And you will not, when they do more than that, you call it money laundering. But when they were bringing it back, there was no definition of money laundering. I said, I suffered to get my degree in Nigeria, likewise others. But when we bring our certificate here, you make it look as a glorified secondary school certificate. I said, you look at our educational system, it's not reckoned with yours. But our educational system is what it is today because the same so-called leaders destroy the system but bring their children over here to school. And you allow them. Why? Because as an international student, you pay 3 times the amount their own people pay. But theirs is loan or grant, but ours is cash.
All right. Mama
Where
H.O.
is that money coming from? Let me conclude with that. Where is that money coming from?
From the poor people.
One?
Yeah.
So, and I said to him, if you are driving back our leader and tell them you do not bring your child here, use that money to go and make your educational system look at our standard, all this would have stopped. So, sir, with this, I can tell you that you people, the Western world, are the parents of us, the children of corruption. He looked at me and he said, what are you studying? I said, social work. He said, no, go and study law. Your case you brought, I'm supposed to collect 1,200 from you, but I'm doing it free of charge for you. From today, you are my friend. You can refer people that have cases to me. Since then, we've been friends. And it's still my loyalty today.
That is a very
consultation. He does not collect money. If it is a case he knew that I can defend by myself in court, he would tell me, Hannah, go and defend that. There's no need for me to go for you. You see, we are our own problem. We are our own enemy. The day we wake up to realize that Africa continent is supposed to be the best continent on earth. Why? Because God has blessed us with everything. The human resources, the human resources, the natural resources, the good weathers. That is our wealth. But we don't value it. They value it. That is why they are working tirelessly to always put puppets there. And the puppets they put there are always people that already have garbage, like Chief Tinubu that has garbage. But I know and I'm sure.
This professor here always say what you are saying.
But I am sure that if my son Sowore come into power, it can never be their puppet. And also we will achieve one of my dreams. And that dream is to make sure a time will come that we will tell them that all our money that has been looted and put in your custody and all the property that they have used it to buy, we will sell it, we will collect it, we will take the money to Africa. My children are on the street, and that is their destiny you borrow to come and drop here.
All right, ma'am.
Has been drawn.
I have a question for you.
Social media, because during the election I came and I withdrew back after the election. But right now, I am back to put the political power in the hands of my children. From councillor to presidency, my children are taking over, whether they like it or not.
How will it happen? That is the question I wanted to ask you.
Wait. They said Godfather is the one that brings them to power. There is no problem. I am the godmother for my children. So the battle line will be between the godfathers and the godmother.
How will you fight the British?
They said a sitting president cannot be unseated. No problem. Especially Jagaban. No problem. Continue to do your strategy. Jagaban, our strategy there in place. You see this pain. You are causing my children. You have turned them to become who God has not turned them to. I know and I am sure with 100% correct that my children, they are queen, they are king, they are prince and princess. That is who they are. They are smart, they are intelligent. They can do more than what is happening in the Western world. When the right environment is given to them, you wicked and evil leader, you sit upon the throne and you look at yourself, you think you have reason. But let me tell you, you are not the owner of the universe and you are not the maker of my children. Since you did not make decision in their mother's womb to create them, you have no decision to make to define their destiny. So,
all right, ma. I think it's important to ask you these questions. I understand that you are reacting also emotionally because you are angry because of what is happening.
See, emotion has gone. Did you understand? When I withdrew, because I was tired of the whole situation, it causes me psychological stress. Did you understand? So
I understand. So,
maker, and I ask questions. And
all right.
So I am not talking out of emotion. I am talking out of a strong belief that togetherness, if we see ourselves, if me and my children see ourselves as a broom bunch, you can sweep them out.
All right. Let me ask you some questions. You see, I thank God you made mention of the British influence in Nigeria, in our country. It's important we do not undermine the British influence because they are the one holding us at the throat.
I know that.
They are drilling us. You saw what happened during presidential election. They were doing one election in one very day. The the Federal House of Representatives, the Senate, the Presidency. Now, what British is interested is the Presidency. They are not interested in every other thing, no, because they know that if they get the Presidency, they can use it to control everything. You know what happened? The Vows electronic voting machine worked for House of Rep. It worked for Senate. It was working for Presidency. Obi was winning. They shut it down.
Okocha.
They shut it down. They said we should go to court.
Okocha.
Yeah.
They say Koniman die. Koniman bury.
Okay.
Did you understand?
I understand.
The stick when you don't see, you know they put your eye, make it blind you.
Mm.
Koniman die. Koniman bury. The day when you realize yourself, that is your good money.
All right. Now, let me show you something, madam. Let me show you something. Listen to this first. I will explain.
Ko kashe mu za ku ko mi za ku iya yi muna wallahi tallahi ba za mu ba wannan aikin ba sai dai in kun bari kun kashe mu kun ba kashe mu na yan uwa ku bari da mu da ku a zo a zanna lafiya to mu mun yarda da wannan tsari amma wai da karfin bindiga wallahi ba za mu taba bari ba ku tuna America shekara nawa tana yaki da Afghanistan shekara nawa tana yaki da yan Taliban tun da Usama bin Laden ya bar duniya har yanzu kungiyar shi na ana yaki da ita duk ba a ƙara waɗannan mutanen ba sai ku da na samo bindigogi ku halba ku kashe wanda za ku kashewa ku kuma manoma ku ji duk da kun ka sani sun ka kawo mana farmaki ku ji manoma ku sani.
Let me end the video there. Let me end the video. What the man was saying is this. He said, we are the Taliban, and Taliban defeated America in Afghanistan. We are going to defeat Nigerian government. This is a serious challenging direct. Okay, let me say, for example, now, if you are the president of Nigeria, madam, if you now personally are the president of Nigeria, how will you be able to solve this problem of insecurity? These people are not saying that we want to fight Nigeria government. They are daring Nigeria government that we defeated US in Afghanistan. We are going to defeat you people here. And you remember that I've been talking about Ìswap, who said they are going to divide Nigeria before December, who adopted 150 people, they killed them. They adopted the emir, they killed them. They started recruiting people. They started collecting tax. They started seizing territories. If someone who is good like Sowore, remember Goodluck Jonathan was good as well. If he entered that position, first of all, they will not allow him because he's not their type. He's not their type. And even when he pretend to be their type and enter there first, when he entered there, it is going to be, let me say, a serious battle because these people, they are not going to give up. They will continue to fight until they achieve what they want. Remember how Taliban fought almighty United States and they ran like madmen out of Afghanistan. So how do you think that this situation will be solved by somebody, just single person they call a president? How do you think that a president can solve this problem?
You see, when there is a will, there is a way. Shebi, they tell us, military is not good, but we have military in Burkina Faso, yes or no?
Yes.
And what is he doing?
He's doing perfectly well. He's doing perfectly well.
Because he make up his mind. He saw everything naked in his face. And he was angry. That how can we've been blessed so much. And some people called France are in charge of what people from Burkina was supposed to enjoy. So when he was coming into power, he came in with a mindset to chase them away. And he also came in with a mindset to fight the insecurity in the land. And he also came with a mindset not to be greedy, that the Burkina Faso first. But then he knew he's going to be dealing with monsters who do not want to let go of Burkina Faso. He chose Russia. He's the one that made that decision for his people.
Because he's a military man. But Nigerian military, can they do that?
Because he knew that that alliance will benefit his people.
Okay.
Did you understand?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I would have preferred military rule in Nigeria right now.
Okay.
But the question is this. Which of the young officers in Nigeria military that would take the part of Ibrahim? Until we see that, if I see that today, I will give a kudo. Because we need such to come in and take over the territory.
Do you think that Nigerian soldiers, they can't behave like Ibrahim Traore?
The question it is, with all the pardon Boko Haram that has been recruited into their midst, you see, history has it that our military personnel were well respected. They were the one who went to Ekpa. Where is that mindset of that military today? Do you see what is happening in Delta State? Do you see what is happening in the north? How can they take armor car with ammunition without fighting? Is it not the same people who are up there that went to donate that armor car and the ammunition? Who did they fool? Who are they fooling? But the truth is this. The battle line has been drawn. And it is the Nigerian youth, your children, the Gen Z, your born children. It is your future they are wasting right now. All the money they are borrowing, they are not paying now. They are not paying now. So it is you people that will. Are you not hopeless enough? In fact, Tinubu, I not like you. But I like and say your promises, you are bringing them to pass. You said you will start from where Buhari stopped. And you are doing it. You are giving us Buhari promise. You said you will reduce the economic power of the people. You devalue the naira. You increase fuel in the name of subsidy remove. So the power of the economy of the people are reduced. Those were your promises. And
all
you
right,
are going to pass.
I have a question for Clavis.
Wait, those who rig election for you, all the people that make themselves to become orange during election, after you have used them to rig election, you disgust them. Are they not suffering now? Are they not queuing day and night, not able to buy petrol? It is good. And I think this will make us to be sensible, so that we will tell ourselves we will not be their instrument anymore. His children are enjoying flying private jets of Nigeria. All of them were in rig election. How far? How far? Emilokon, because it's Yoruba. All of you that are going and dancing with tribal bigotry, don't you know there are only two tribes in Nigeria? The tribe of the oppressed and the tribe of the oppressor. It is only in the tribe of the oppressed that we allow bigotry of tribe and religions to divide us, because they are using divide and rule in their tribe. They marry themselves. Don't you see all of them when they enter a bus, they go one burial. But during election, they go come tell you, say, Muslim, Christian, Igbo, Hausa, Yoruba. I think our mumu don't reach.
It's all right, man. So, all right, man. Mr. Clavis, there is a question I want to ask you here, because Madam made some point about the military administration if it happens in Nigeria. You see, Nigeria is not like other countries. For example, they are a set of terrorist people, the number 2 terrorists in the world, Boko Haram. These people have been inducted into the Nigerian army. So that is the fear of some persons, that if such people, a Boko Haram member, should be given opportunity to lead a nation, how will the nation be? In other words, that is just the end of everything. They will turn everything upside down. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, Mr. Okocha, we're talking about the military role in this context, and we believe that we're referring to the son of the soil. The son of the soil, a soldier who has the interest of the country here. Not anyone who's coming from a certain land that we're not sure whether is originally from Nigeria or from wherever. So that will never work for any African country. We're talking about a patriotic, like the likes of Assimi Goïta, Ibrahim Traoré, the son of the soil. The person who's coming there not to play around or to entertain the colonists, but to eradicate anything that is against the people. So if Boko Haram is established against the people, then we need that son of the soil to come and get something like that out. So we're not referring to someone who will bring us back, like these likes of Boko Haram. No, none of that. None of that, Mr. Okocha. I want someone who will come there to talk about the new model of leadership that will really include all kinds of cultural values we have there in Nigeria, so that no one will be feel left out. That's what I am suggesting.
All right. So, Madam, I know you must have seen the video of Burna Boy when he said that, first of all, Clavis, do you know a musician called Burna Boy? So popular, I think you should know him.
I've heard of the name. But yeah.
Yeah. So Burna Boy said that Nigeria is a former Royal British company. That Nigeria originally, intentionally, was not meant to exist. As in, they were not trying to make up a country. They were trying to make out some companies, make profit from slavery,
all
trade,
African
and all
countries,
things.
Mr. Okocha. I am not stopping your word, but all African countries were designed in the same context. Yeah.
Okay. So just 1 minute. Let's take a look at this before we come back to discuss.
That stands out the most is like Collateral Damage off the project. Why do you think that song has resonated so much? It's the reality.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's the reality hits you so hard in the chest that you have to lose your breath.
What's the reality for people that don't know for that song? Like, why did you? What's the message behind that song?
The message is, the song is called Collateral Damage, and why it's called Collateral Damage is because we, as not just Nigerians, as Africans, that's the citizens, not the powers that be, we are all collateral damage. Even the powers that be are collateral damage, but now they become the powers that be, and now they are.
Right.
Do you understand? Because at the end of the day, whatever, let's even start from the name of your country or your whatever. It's not a name that was given by your ancestors.
Right.
Do you understand? Somebody came from somewhere and told you that you are this, and then now that's who you are.
Right.
Do you understand? So now you're collateral damage because their reason for naming you that and their reason for even coming in the first place had nothing to do with your best interest.
Right.
Do you understand? So now we're in a situation where it's like we were almost unwanted in our own place. So now it's a lot of fixing to do, because it's like it's like if you're frying an egg,
Yeah.
then the shell is going to be collateral damage.
Right. It's part of it.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because it's the one that's going to be broken and thrown away. And that's kind of what the ordinary African man is in this day and age.
It seems like you stick up for the African man too, because I saw a couple weeks ago there was a situation in South Africa, and you had some issues with there. Do you feel like that's been resolved, or you still like?
I mean, for me, it's not. I have no personal problems because me, I'm, you know. But it's the problems. Or the problem is in the reality.
All right. I think I've gotten the message, the part that that concerns this video. You really get what he said, that this country was not meant to exist. It was not meant to exist. So I am finding it difficult to understand why people don't know the problem of Nigeria. You know why? If you don't know the problem of something, you can't proffer solution. If you don't know the problem.
It's not just
the
problem.
Yeah. Can you be more audible? I don't know why we are not hearing you well.
You are not hearing me?
Yeah, we are hearing you, but it's faint.
Okay. You are hearing me now?
Yeah.
Good. It's not just knowing the problem. It's knowing the root cause of the problem.
Yeah.
All this why we focus only on the puppet that they are using in Africa. Me, I was doing that.
Okay.
Until I did digging. And I discovered that the root cause is Britain. And America is not left out. But the thing is this. Let me make one clarification. When we talk about Britain, when we talk about America and the other places, it's not all of them. They are cabals. So the real people, the real Britons, or the ordinary British, the ordinary France, the ordinary America, they don't belong to that group.
Okay.
So it is only some group of these people who are benefiting financially from our resources.
Okay.
The whole cocoa problem is the resources. As long as they have free access to the resources of Africa, they won't let go. Because their empire of wealth depends on it. So it is not the whole breathing. The same way the ordinary Nigeria are suffering and they don't really understand the root cause of their problem. It's the same thing. But the thing is this: can a civilian be able to contest them? Yes. But the civilian must know that he has the same like mind to work with him in the House of Rep and in the House of Senate. And all the people he will bring together to work with him must have the same mindset. Then his military must be people who will stand behind him as Ibrahim Traore, who will face insurgency without using the money and loot it. So that is the only way civilian can work. If not, I prefer military now. But the question is this: with all the recruited Boko Haram, where is it going to happen? Have been all the officers that Tinubu has given them what they want with pot belly? How? But I'm saying one thing to my young officer military. They have declared December, and that will happen, except Chief Tinubu release Nnamdi Kanu now, so that those military officers you put in the east can go to the north. Chief Tinubu, allow my children to protest freely. All those officers,
Madam, you have to answer this question here.
Wait, all those officers, send them to the north. Because if you know that December could take place for crow for your eyes. Because the people, those people, when they do yes out for Britain, they're behind Ìswap. Now resource control.
All right, ma'am. All right. Look at the question. The person wrote, Okocha, please ask this woman preaching One Nigeria how she intends to deal with the Sharia law in Nigeria.
My brother.
Yes.
You see, a journey of 1,000 miles. It starts with a step. We have a confusing constitution. And until we replace that constitution with the people constitution that will not define one particular religion in the constitution, there is no way. That will not give room for referendum. If you like, talk to you tomorrow. You can only agitate for Ododuwa, for Arewa, for Biafra. You will not get it. Because you know that you can't get it. You can only get it with referendum. Is your current constitution having referendum?
Even that referendum, our brother is saying that if they are organizing referendum today, who is going to count the votes? Who is going to organize it? Who is going to control the beavers?
So therefore, we have to bring the right people into power for that to happen.
Then how will you bring the right people into power? Who will allow you to bring them into power?
You see, wait now. You see, there are different ways you can kill a rat. The day the young Nigerians are willing to take over their destiny and are ready to work together in unity of purpose, that is the day we start the journey of our freedom.
Then what about?
You see, the power lies in the hand of the people. Let us understand that. They know that the day the Nigerian youth wake up and work together in unity and refuse to be allowed to be divided with tribe and religion, that is the day we are free. And because they know there is power in unity, and with unity we will achieve it, they continue to sow the seed of disunity in our midst. And another weapon they are using is this: poverty, which has resulted to hunger. Because when you are hungry, you can easily sell out your mandate.
All right, man. Let's go to what Obasanjo said. Obasanjo said that democracy can never work in Nigeria and in Africa. And this is a man who has been a military ruler and a 2 times democratic president of the most populous black nation on earth. He said democracy can never work in Africa, it can never work in Nigeria, that we should forget about Western democracy. Then there is a book written by this my brother here, Professor Clavis. It's Afro-Democracy, the New African Order. In that book, he talks about that Africans we have missed it, that our destiny is not in the future, that our destiny is at the back, that if you miss road in the forest, the only way for you to go back is not for you to go forward, but for you to go back to trace where you missed the road. And he is saying that power should be returned to the way we were before the Britain came to Nigeria. That is returning power to real owners like the Obis, the Obas, and so on and so forth. And in his book, he is claiming that a president is not interested in the citizens, but an Oba is interested in protecting the Benin Kingdom. Obi is interested in protecting his kingdom. Your Ovie is interested in protecting their kingdom. Their kingdom is the beauty of the king. The people, the way the people are, they look at your people are great. That gives a king joy. But what gives Tinubu joy is the death of protesters. How to charge them to treason. How to make sure nobody has money again, so that if he gives you 1 naira, you will be okay, you will be satisfied, and he will shut your mouth up. Do you think that leaving this Western democracy and returning to the way we were will automatically solve this problem? And if you believe that that will, solve some of the problem, how do we do this?
Wait, Okocha. The kings, the chief, the Igwes, the Obas, are they not part of our problem?
Of course they are.
So,
but were they part of the problem? No, don't forget that they were captured. Some of them resisted, they were killed.
Wait, listen. Any man, any woman that refuse to stand for the truth is part of our problem. It is only the truth that will set us free. For example, before Oni of Ife went to palace, he was saying that people are hungry. When he went to Aso Rock, before he went to Aso Rock, sorry, he was saying the people are hungry. But when he went to Aso Rock and came back, he said to us, endure. And that is language is enough for me to understand that when he met Tinubu face to face, he could not open his mouth to tell him the real truth. That the people are hungry. I may be wrong, but I may be right. Maybe Ghana must go as a change.
All right, Mr. Clavis.
Our chief, our Igwe, our king, they are part of this problem.
I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting it.
Allow lie to prevail over their life.
All right.
They have allowed themselves to get two sides of the mouth. So that returning to that place you talk about, we cannot return there. Because we are being bred and raised with lies.
All right. Mr. Clavis.
We need it today. So how can we return there? Obasanjo, I don't know who they listen to you. You see, all this your corner apology is not acceptable.
Do you think Obasanjo was not right to what he was saying?
Wait, make I finish. Obasanjo, who killed Bola Ike? How can Attorney General of the Federation buy in your administration and then look for who buyer they not see her? You know why they not see her? Thief. Person when steal your thing, if they help you, they look for her. You not go see her. Obasanjo, if you not say you are telling us the truth, first of all, come and tell us who buy Bola Ige. Then two, tell us when you were in military rule, as you look back, what did you do wrong? When you now became civilian, what did you and Atiku do wrong? Because you people have to tell us all this so that we can learn from your wrong and be able to use it, and we don't do wrong in that. But as long as you people begin to play dummy as if you don't know what is wrong, then you do not have the audacity to tell my children the way forward. Because you people are corrupt.
All right, ma. Let's hear from Clavis.
Return
all right.
it. Return all the looted money. You and Babangida and all of una. All the money one are thief. And all the people want to thief are with una. The one want to carry come for Western world to put for their account, buy property, open company, and the one want to put for inside house. Okocha, do you know that majority of them, they have CBN in their home? All this money scarcity and all, Rufai and Co, all of them, majority of them in the north, they have CBN full of dollar, pounds, and euro. All the money they are looting. Some of them they can't bring here. And us, Nigeria, we are not left out. The one they are bringing here, they can't do it successfully without some
Yeah.
of us Nigeria in the diaspora.
Yeah, don't forget we are talking about the issue of traditional rulers. I wanted to ask Clavis a question. Mr. Clavis, are you there?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Okay. All right. So this issue of traditional rulers, you know, before the British came, they were not like this. They were truthful. They were divine. In fact, some of them said they originated from God. People value them. They value their people. They went for war to protect their people. If you come and kill one person inside a kingdom, the kingdom will fight you. That was how the traditional rulers were. Then after the British,
values are always referred to in my book as well for democracy. I'm listening to you, Mr.
Then after the British captured them and they started behaving like what Mama H.O. is saying, what do you think that went wrong? And how do you think that when these people get the power that they had before, that that change is still going to return back?
Well, Mr. Okocha, I'm a scientist. You see, I am a scientist. So I think in the field of science, you know, in the way of providing long-lasting solutions. Now, we're talking about current traditional leaders in the context of the Republic, So in my book, when we talk about Afro-democracy, I'm against the Republic. I'm against democracy. I'm against the Constitution of the Republic. In fact, to me, all those structures do not make any sense because they are established in a certain country that does not exist. In the case of Nigeria, Nigeria as such does not exist. In fact, when we call ourselves Nigerians, it is a falsity. You see, it's a fake identity that we've been carrying around, calling ourselves Congolese, you know, Nigerians, you know, Senegalese, all that. Now, we're talking about the returning of power to the traditional rulers. We have to read exactly what is written in my book. I am not saying about returning power to the traditional leaders, make them kings for life. No, I didn't say something like that because I know what is the danger behind that. When you give them such responsibilities, before you know that, we've seen that in a Nigerian movie, the son of the chief will be like, okay, this is our land, you are our people. No, there will be some kind of abuse somewhere over there. All I said is this: the power that we're fighting for must be taken into context, ideological context, and also spiritual context. For the British, in the context of Nigeria, to win over the kings, they didn't only do that in means of military might or whatsoever. There were also some kind of spiritual involvement behind that. So we've been blindfolded ideologically and spiritually as well. So we cannot win in the ideological context without touching the spiritual way of this fight here. We cannot. So we have to know where we're standing in this matter. Now, when we're talking about the spirituality of our lands, who's holding that? If we talk about it in the context of a key, the key to our prosperity, the key to our stability, the key to our security related to our land, who's holding that? The chief or the bloodline of the chiefs. So I am talking about involving them by returning power to them so that, you know, whatsoever was lost, because they are the authorized voices, whatever that was lost, let it be recovered by means of them being chiefs or leaders of the land. And in my book, I went further to say that by then, we can establish due grounds of leadership and organize the elections. So we're talking about the elections here, but after the power has been returned from the Republic back to our lands in means of regionalism, federalism, whatsoever. So from then, we'll build up the new college of leadership. That is where, you know, those chiefs will be there. Remember, in our previous interviews, I even say they'll be like the guardians of the temples. In our previous interviews, I spoke about the US, saying like, we have the US president, for an example. But behind the US president, there is a certain structure that is controlling the brain of power. But when it comes to Africa, we don't have that. We don't have that. I even gave an example of this current situation of Burkina Faso. There's no brain behind that, in the way that if the president of Burkina Faso currently, if he's taken out, all the ideology with him will go. That's the case with Libya. So we need to create a certain brain behind that will be like a moral value to those young leaders. And those young leaders must be promoted by means of elections, not as a leader, but a council of leadership within a certain state, within a certain region. But what is the brain behind is the council of leaders. That's what I'm talking about. So I am not
Oh.
referring the return of power to those traditional leaders to lead us. No, 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 no. This is a new generation of leadership we're talking about here. But we're
All right.
referring to
You
them
see,
because the power was lost from them. It was
yeah.
lost from those traditional leaders. So we must go
Okay.
back to our way of traditions, to that
Okay.
crossroad. And what is that
Okay.
crossroad? It's between current politics and our tradition. When we're talking
All
about
right.
current politics, we're referring to democracy. When you're talking about our tradition, we refer to traditional leaders. So we have to go back there and establish the new ground of leadership. That is it.
All
That's the
right.
context right now. We're not talking
During
about
the
leaders like leading us, I don't know, somehow like in the past. No.
okay. During the regional government system in Nigeria, they had council of some things. I understand what you are saying now. So I think if they have council of traditional rulers in Nigeria, but that should not be this democratic system because
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
yeah, the politicians are always using financial inducements to destroy the values of the chiefs, of the traditional rulers, of the emir, the obis, the obas, and the opanukus, however name they call them. Now, this is an important question I want us to look into. I would like you to react to it, and also Mama H.O. to react to it. She is asking and saying, how can we put the right people? Why some people getting there are not those we have voted for? How can we put the right people at the position of affairs? How can we put the right people? Mama H.O., this question is specifically for you because you were the one talking about all this presidency. How can you put the right people where someone that is there, you did not put him, you did not vote for him? So how do you think you can put the right people over there? Over to you.
You see, when you fail an exam and you want to pass the exam, you will go back and look at what you did wrong. They rigged election, fine. We went to court. The rigging continued.
Okay.
What did we learn from it?
First of all,
are we sitting down to analyze what we didn't do right and begin to prepare on how to ensure we block all loopholes? If we don't do that, that means we lack nothing.
Which loophole do you think that we had in last election?
Good. We took time to prepare massively for that election.
Okay.
They told us that we do not have structure. We created structure by ourselves. They told us that it is only APC and PDP that can have the highest score. We proved them wrong.
What happened the day of election?
But in most of the polling units, we do not have our people.
Okay.
We do not prepare people to make sure we have our sleep. We do not have a well-organized coalition center where we'll be able to coalesce anyway. You're asking me question. You want me to expose a lot of things.
Okay, now let me expose one strategy for you. Someone from is it Adamawa? No, it's not Adamawa. I forgot the state the person came from. He's an Hausa man. He's a supporter of APC. We were talking day before yesterday. He told me something. He said, anybody we want to win, we win. I said, how? What do you mean? He said, what I mean is that Tinubu has prepared, or they are preparing. Let me use the exact word he used so that I will not misquote him. He said, these people are preparing a double INEC sheet. That the sheet they will give your polling agent, INEC will deny it that is not the original sheet. And they can even arrest your polling agent. That is number one. Number two, it was a human being that off the electronic voting machine in that election. They will off it, and you will present that one to the court, and they will deny it. What are you going to do?
Wait. When we went to court, and we went to Supreme Court supported what the lower court has done.
Yes.
When you carry the buses from INEC to them, they didn't accept it. They didn't open it.
Okay.
We have no result on our own to even present. We have nothing. And they told us, they gave us the expo.
And what is the expo they gave you?
Good. The expo is the solution. If at all court will come, is in the answer they gave to us in the court. Go and listen to the judgment. Then two, make una not think go election by thinking you want to go to court. Don't go with that mindset. Don't. Then two, Nigerians, if you are tired of this suffering, start now. Not be rush hour. Go and collect your PVC. Go and
Is it people that will leave Nigeria before 2027 you are talking to, or people?
No.
Because
Okocha,
yeah,
we are planning for one road, not the enter market.
okay,
You understand?
yeah,
All this may help us not to do 2027. But start to deceive ourselves now that 2027 will not occur. And we will not start planning now.
okay,
And we'll focus on this side. And if Tinubu that will not want to leave power, they can't use all this one fool us. We can't focus on only this one. Then when 2027 will come, we go begin the rush. Our PVC go the day inside bush.
I understand what you said.
So that is why I said, if na Sowore way, which is protest, they could not go to it. If na Obi way, which is election, they could they prepare ahead. One road in no enter market. We are dealing with monsters. Let us get that understanding ahead. We are dealing with people that say, I don't care. Animal has rights in US and other places. But in Nigeria, human being not get rights. So it is not left for you people, us, to say we get rights. They have put their knees on our neck. They are not ready to let us breathe. So it is us that will make up our mind to pull out their knees from our neck so that we can breathe. How come they've taken over part of the north? All the senators from the north, did they know? All the governors from the north, did they know? Chief Tinubu, did he know? But you see, they want to continue to use us as collateral damage. It is not left for us to say, no, we can never be a collateral damage. As long as their children are not being used as collateral damage, Nigeria youth, Nigerian mommy and daddies, do not let them use you and our children as collateral damage.
All right, ma'am.
You also know that we are already in the war, so that you are able to stay safe. You come and nothing happen. You think you are not in a war. You are deceiving yourself. Okocha, do you know when I begin to worry? When I find out that kidnapping has crossed the level of when you leave your house and you enter the wrong car. They come to your house and they kidnap you. So that kidnapping has not come to you does not mean you are free. So I don't want to die. I love my sister Aisha. He said, all die and I die. So I am not afraid to die.
All right, ma'am. There is something I want us to listen. This is an old video. The video was recorded last week by Dende Farotimi. He said something when Shehu Okibandoye asked him about 2027 election, and this was what he said. Let's take
we can't be having that and be talking about an election in 2027. We must at least be honest enough to tell ourselves what is in front of us. If there is going to be an election worthy of his name, I will be out there supporting Peter Obi. If there will be an election, and if we still even have a country, the way Bulaba is going with Nigeria, what do we know that will be left of this country by 2027? What will be left of this country? Anemia is being killed in his own domain after ransom war. And we are talking about 2027. An Oba was killed. 2 Obas, for instance, were killed in Ekiti for the other time. And we are still talking about 2027. You practically don't have a functional state again. Somebody is single-handedly, without recourse to any due process, the due process law be damned, the PPP law be damned, single-handedly without public tender of any sort, be awarding a road at 4 billion naira per kilometer. And you are still talking about a country.
I saw what happened with Kenneth Okonkwo, who said it no longer speaks for Peter Obi because he doesn't think that he has the grit and the firmness to be able to handle issues. Are you still with Peter Obi? Do you?
All right. That was, Barrister Dende Farotimi saying that he don't think Nigeria will exist even before 2027. He's talking out of reality. He's not saying it because he's presuming it. The country we have today is not even existing. If a country is existing, terrorists will not be on one side collecting tax, chase people away out of the country. And let me tell you, during an election, they will tell you that all those areas, they are terrorists, they will not vote. Before you know, they will hijack votes from there. As in, what these people cannot do does not exist. What these people cannot do does not exist. These people, you see, if they have hearts of human being, you could say, oh, maybe these people will reason. These people don't reason. They lost their brain. They lost their sense of humor. They lost everything that makes them human beings. Once you talk against them, they declare you wanted. Many of us, they have put us on watch list that you can't travel out, you can't come in. If you come in, they will capture you. But the most important thing is that anybody who is afraid of arrest in Nigeria is not yet prepared. Exactly. So this is not the time someone will be afraid that, oh, I'm going to be arrested. I'm going to, no problem. In fact, if they want address, we can even send them address to come and arrest us. So we are not afraid of what they are going to do, but I am afraid so that we will not chase the wrong thing. At the end, we'll start afresh. Because since 1960, Nigeria has been solving a problem that does not exist. We thought that if Agbo Ironsi come out, the next person will be better, we solve Nigeria problem. It became worse. Okay, let me leave military regime. Let me start from 1999, democratic regime. Obasanjo entered. They say Obasanjo was good, but no, Obasanjo is bad, he's corrupt. He went to Bayelsa to bomb. He stopped Ibeto's men. We need another person. Yaradua came. Yaradua came, they said, oh, Northerners begin to say, Yaradua is making itself good to the South. It's not, before you know, Yaradua died, whether after 1 year of president. Goodluck Jonathan took as a president. They said, oh, Goodluck Jonathan is an evil man. He's a monster, including Tinubu. They started protesting, hey, let us bring Buhari. Buhari is a saint. Buhari fought corruption before. They brought Buhari, corruption double, insecurity double, everything doubled. Everything, everybody started doing, I say, hey, let us look for a better person. Tinubu came. And now we are saying Tinubu is not good. Do we know who is going to come again? Do we know whether if somebody, I'm sorry to say this, I know people will come after me. If somebody like Peter Obi, as good as he is, he entered the position of presidency, they will use insecurity to frustrate Obi out of that place. Because you will send a military officer message, he will not go. You will sack him. How many people are you going to sack? Boko Harams are the military. They will frustrate Obi out of there. And apart from that, I was talking to one DSS man in Lagos. That was 5 days ago. And he told me something that when he was in Abuja, he was working with Jonathan. That's a small time President Jonathan will be talking like an imbecile. Will just be talking by himself. Small time president, a president will just be running. You don't know where he's running to. They will catch him. He's telling me an experience of a president that I have not heard of. That is to say, that man was a good man, but when he entered that seat, what he saw made him to run mad. And the day of election, when the man lost, he lost an election, a president. Number one history in Africa, where a president, sitting president, lost an election. Before the election finished, he picked up his phone and he made a call. He congratulated his opponent. They have not called result. Do you think that it's an ordinary eye that made him to do that? They frustrated him. And they told him, if you fight Boko Haram, you are fighting the North. If you fight Boko Haram, we'll deal with you. Imagine. So the man was frustrated out of the seat. And that is why I'm telling people that sometimes I'm predicting, I believe that good people exist. But if you bring Angel in Aso Rock and become Nigeria president, I am still doubting. I am not concluding. But I am still doubting that the person will not be able to change anything in Nigeria as the present structure is now.
Okocha.
Madam.
I'm a Christian.
Yeah.
My Bible tells me, if the righteous rule, the people rejoice.
But not the righteous ruling in the kingdom of devil. Wait, man. Bible did not say when the righteous rule in the kingdom of devil, Nigeria is a kingdom of devil.
When the righteous rule, the people rejoice.
Yeah.
But when the wicked rule, the people suffer.
Yeah.
As long as we continue to have the wicked in the political environment, Not only president, oh,
Mm.
from councillor to presidency.
Mm.
As long we continue to have the wicked in all this office, the people will suffer. So we are not putting only eye in the president. No. And the good people, there are good people in Nigeria, home and abroad. Until they make up their mind to come in and take power from councillor to presidency.
Madam, if you are a Christian, can you become a priest in Juju? In voodoo shrine?
Wait, listen now, let me finish.
Okay.
They told us, the good people in Christianity, the good people in Muslim, that politics is a dirty game. And as good people, we do not want to stain our integrity with dirty politics. So we stay away. As long as we are staying away, now the wicked will continue from councillor to presidency. But you see, I am of a strong belief that politics is not a dirty game. It is the politicians that are dirty. So for that to be changed, good people must be ready to come in and sweep away all these dirty politicians. Until we do that, there's no way. You see, it pains my heart. Then too, another thing, we black people, we don't read. The only one of the things that attracted me to your platform is this. You do not just come here to present anything that you have not diligently done a research on.
Yeah.
Because you want to present the truth. That is why I come here. Any platform you see me is because they present the truth. What most of the things I said today, I said because I do research. And I am always ready to learn. But we, black, especially my Niger, now how to make money by all means. Because we worship those who have money without knowing how they get it. We lost love for humanity because all of us, even the British, were condemning. Are we not also breathing ourselves? Are we not?
Yeah.
Are we not stealing from one another? Are we not doing that to ourselves? So before we point finger to the British, make we stop to steal from ourselves first. My brothers and sisters in diaspora, they work hard and send money home. Help me to buy land. Our people go chop am. Build house. They will snap another picture and send to us. If they even build the house, if you come home, if they don't run you mad, they will send people to buy you or kidnap you. So how are we different from the British? I want to know. So before we point hand to the British, let me first of all point out to ourselves. In businesses, are we not destroying one another? Are we not envy? You see, as I look, I realize that if you remove wickedness from Africa, we don't have a problem. So before we even think of fighting these people, wickedness must go out of us. Greediness, envy, jealousy must be buried. But as long as all this happen, there is no way. Because, you see, during Obasanjo time, something happened. They made an Igbo person the Senate president. But during that regime, how many Senate presidents that we get? And who were behind it? Of the Senate president from the Igbo tribe, how many? And it is the same Igbo that we are doing it, yes or no?
Of course, yes.
Is it not in Anambra State, if I'm not mistaken, two brothers from the same mama, the Umba family, not be that they fight themselves? So you see, love, truth is the weapon we need. Because it is only the truth that will set us free. We should stop to defend the indefensible. Okocha.
Yeah.
Maybe when we carry case go court, if we know the judge, we go beggar. So how can justice prevail when we are the root cause? Our family, not be there every person when their power come from. Emefele thief. If to say Emefele not thief, now family go sit tell and say, you stupid. You be CBA governor, nothing to show. Even
when he thief, is there anything he have to show? Nothing still to show.
If we want to solve our problem, all of us, including me, I am not exempted. Because directly or indirectly, we cause this problem. Who rig election? Who are not? In fact, for a professor, Yakubu is a professor. And I know say picking when they primary 6. If I even do better past professors, Yakubu never disgrace professor.
It's all right, man. It's all right. Mr. Clavis, thank you so much for your wonderful time today. Mama H.O., thank you so much for your wonderful time today.
Doesn't look me like this. I hope I'm safe.
You are safe. Mr. Clavis, from all you have told us today, from everything you have said today, it will be very important if you can take 5 minutes to summarize everything you told us today.
Thank you, Mr. Okocha. For the issue of Nigeria as such, not as a country, but as the colonists' dream, beyond the fact that we have leaders who are doing these kind of bad things to the people, but I still rise behind. Beyond that concept, to say that I don't see the African leader as a free man. there is always a force behind them. So if we can identify that force, that is when we start really fighting the right fight.
Okay.
And the moment we'll identify that right fight, that is when we'll find the solutions to our problems. So all I'm trying to say that we have to focus our mind in changing the political system. There is no other ways to make this this crisis go away from our societies. I will take the context of the fact that you were trying to tell us about the different regimes that Nigeria has known so far, that this leader here came in, and then the people came out calling for another, and then here again they are calling for Tinubu to go out, then for the other. So we can just take it as a sequence. If that is a sequence, which means in the next 50 years, provided that the system will remain the same, we'll still be calling for a new leader to come in, a new leader to come in. And that's what I'm not standing for. I want us to stand for a fight that when we are gone, at least we'll leave behind us something that will really serve our children. So we need something sustainable. And that thing is by changing the political system. Because what is really bringing problems to us is the system, Mr. Okocha. There is nothing else. It is the system. You can be a good man from outside. When you come in, you are not even a bad man. Tinubu is not a bad man. But Tinubu is serving in a bad system, making him look as a bad man as well. If you ask Tinubu's children, they will tell you that is certainly perhaps a good father. They will tell you that that's perhaps a good uncle, something like that. But when it comes to politics, he's a different person. He's a different person. There is no way all these armed insurgents in the north we're talking about will stand against the government. You've been playing video here that we stop the US, we'll stop. Those are the empty noise, I can say. Those are the empty noise. If they're terrorists, we all know who created the terrorists in the Middle East. We know that. So if from what we hear that the US created all that, so how can you stop your own master? How can you stop your own master from what they're saying? They cannot do that. It is just the noise to intimidate the people. But bottomly, they are together with the Nigerian government. Otherwise, if they were not together with the Nigerian government, they could have been taken out long time ago. They could have been taken out a long time ago because they don't have the resources to stand against the government, the ruling government. No way. So all I can say from this opportunity that was given to us to be here is to fight the right battle. And that right battle is by calling the systematic change. If we don't change the system, we can take the best of the leaders from wherever and put him in Nigeria, in the presidency, in that very same colonial structure. That presidency, that leader will fail. So that's all I can say for now, Mr. Okocha. There is too much to say, but our fight as Africans must just be around the political system, because that is what is really screwing us down. Nothing else. Nothing.
All right. Thank you so much, Mama Echo. Thank you, everyone. Our next program is going to be about, the release of the leader of indigenous people of Biafra, ipob, Nnamdi Kanu, on 24th of this month. He will be having what I call the final judgment. But I don't think that, I don't really know. If you ask me what is going to happen in next court case, I will tell you that I'm dubious. I don't really know what is going to happen because we are dealing with demons. So I don't know whether they will eventually release him. But if judgment is being passed, I do not see any ground where law will hold him down. So they have heard him about, they have first arrested him going to 10 years now. They arrested him, that was 2015, going to 10 years. And they have not been able to find him guilty in a competent court of law in Nigeria. That speaks volume. So they keep on, shifting something, appealing judgment. even Court of Appeal, the second highest court in Nigeria, discharged Nnamdi Kanu acquitted. And they told him, no court in Nigeria have right to even charge you or fight you or pass judgment on you based on how the Nigerian government have treated you, how they kidnap you from Kenya, which is against the law of, renditioning somebody and so on and so forth. So that will be our next topic. And I believe we are still going to get more people. And I was trying to get, there is a group they call Ohanis in Igbo. I was trying to get their secretary's phone number. I wanted to ask them a question like, why do you people leave all these things for only the youth? Because what I was planning is that after the court judgment that they did not release Nnamdi Kanu, the fathers, all these Ohanizes, they ought to storm the street. They ought to protest because this is no longer a prosecution. It is a persecution. You understand? You cannot be holding somebody going to 10 years without judging him. Imagine this is a federal government. They want to judge you within 2 days.
It's been a persecution from the time he was arrested anyway.
You understand? So if the government want to judge you today, they will judge you. But the problem is that they don't have the basics to judge him. The law of Nigeria, first of all, said that where you commit a crime, that is where you will be tried. They are charging him that he's doing Radio Biafra in London. We have a court in London, so you can ask British to try him if you violated their law, of which he did not. So these are the petty crimes. They charge him treason before, later they stop the treason, and so on and so forth. So it's something that people should look into, because if people did not react, they will still hold another person tomorrow and do the same thing. Just imagine people who were protesting, they are charging them treasonable felony today. The people who carried out embargo governance protests. If we do not rise against this, the next people who are going to protest, they will just execute them without taking them to court. That's why I say we must rise together. Yeah, we must rise together against this government. So my special thanks to you people, Mama H.O. and Professor Clavis. Thank you so much for joining this evening. I really appreciate your time and everything. I know you have something you're supposed to be doing, but you leave what you're supposed to be doing and come and join me in life. I really appreciate, and I say, may God bless you people. Thank you and have a very, very nice day.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Okocha.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much. Especially Mama H.O. today, we really drag a lot of things today. We disagree to agree today. Thank you so much, man. All right. Hope to see you in my next.